Hello, hello, hello. Dr. Alan Harper here. Once again, I'm your Secure Vibe coder, and we're here for another live Secure Vibe coding session. We're working on this app that we call User Vibes OS, and the purpose of this app is to collect vibes from the user throughout the user journey lifecycle. And it works like this. We allow the developer to drop a JavaScript widget into their website, and then they can start to pick up these these vibes from the users. Okay, now we've started with the feedback module, and we have the ability to capture feature requests and bug reports from the user. That's very vital because this is the most precious information you can get from your users, particularly the feature request. Right, so we make that super easy for our developers. And we've started here. This is our MVP, but we're going to do so much more. We're going to work our way around the circle, probably in this direction right here. Now, there are companies that do each of these, but nobody's doing all of it. And so that's what's going to make us different. And we also do it securely. We are Secure Vibe coders on this channel. If you want to learn more about me, click that, check that QR code up here, or the link in the description. You can join my free mentoring group where I'm laying down value daily. We have about 7,000 in that group, and you can join that group and get value. You can also find out more about my Secure Vibe Coding Masterclass inside of there, and you can get more access to me inside of my mentoring group. All right, so, oh, that wasn't good. Somehow I just lost the sharing. Go back. Okay, so that's just a summary of the app. Here's the architecture of the app. Again, there's a front-end JavaScript module. They get that on their back-end dashboard. They set up an API key, and then they set up these feedback boards. We keep everything in sync with Convex. All right, if you've joined me tonight, go ahead and drop a hello in the chat. Let me know you're here. I'd appreciate it. Now, here's the long feature list that we've done here. We've been at this, I think this is our 40th session, if I'm not mistaken. And we go about an hour a night. So we're about 40, maybe 45 hours into this. And so we're a 1 week into it straight, essentially. And we have about 4 months worth of work already accumulated here. You can see this long list of features that we've already racked up. All of this stuff's working well, okay? And so we, again, are Secure Vibe coders. We do it securely. You can learn about vibe coding in many places on the internet, but you're not going to learn about Secure Vibe coding, not at this level, okay? All right, so let's jump into it. Tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to add security monitoring with Claude and Git workflows, and also something called the Pendabot. And so the idea is whenever we check code into Git or into GitHub, GitHub is just a version of Git, then we want to run security reviews, okay? This is like the icing on the cake. Now, we've already run security reviews, but we want to do it up there in the cloud as well. And that's like the last check before, we release this code. All right, so it's super, super important what we're going to work on tonight, okay? And we should have actually done this a while ago, but that's okay. We're just 1 week into this thing, 40 hours, right? Yeah, all right. So look, again, if you've joined me, go ahead and drop a hello. I'd appreciate it. Let me know that you're out there. Let's see. Okay. Looks like we have some people on already viewing out there. All right. So how are we going to do this? All right. There's a couple things we're going to do. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to review an article from Anthropic or Claude about this very topic. And one of the things that we need to be aware of is that there's this automated, we can automate our security reviews with Claude. Okay. So we can use either GitHub Actions or a new command called security review. Okay. Now this is as of, when was this? Back in August, they came out with this, okay? So we have our own agent and security skills that we've installed as part of our Secure Vibe Coding OS. Again, you can find this on GitHub. It's public repo, my repo. And that gave us a secure baseline, right? And inside of there are security skills and also an agent that does security scanning. Now, we've done that in previous videos, okay? So nothing new there, but I want you to be aware that Claude comes with its own security review tool built in. How cool is that? It's not quite as good as the one that we built, like within the security skills, because like I've dialed that one in, and I make sure that it uses, for example, it's going to use a third-party tool called SemGrep. Okay, it's a static code analysis tool. Okay, so this one doesn't do that, but still, it's just another layer in the cake, right? So we'll take all the security reviews we can get. Why not? It doesn't really cost much more in terms of tokens. Okay, so you need to be aware that you can just issue this command on any recent version or updated version of Claude Code, and it will run a comprehensive security scan. What does it look for? It looks for things like this: SQL injections, cross-site scripting, authentication authorization flows, insecure data handling, dependency vulnerabilities, and so much more. Like it will look for like hidden keys, or like that you've committed keys up to GitHub and stuff like that. It will search for all of that. All right. So we can automate it in a GitHub action, and it'll look like this. We'll do that in a moment. Or you can just type the slash and execute it yourself. Okay. All right. So we're going to do it within the GitHub action, and we're actually going to cheat because we're going to get 2 of these actions for the price of 1. All right, there's another one out there that I want you to be aware of. Another capability on the Anthropic's website or GitHub repository. Notice there's an S in Anthropics. That's because somebody beat them to the name. Like if you just go to Anthropic GitHub, there's like another dude there. So like, I'm sure they'd like to buy that guy out. But anyway, I have no clue why they put an S on there. But this is the official repo for Anthropic. And they have this thing called Claude Code Action, okay? And I really, really like this one. And it's updated all the time. Like, look, this thing was just updated, like, just an hour ago, okay? So really good stuff here, all right? And what it does is it does a code review for you. So you know how like we're vibe coders, right? So often we work like as individuals, like, like lone coders. Right. In the real world, like you would have like a peer review your pull requests for you. Pull requests are like, submissions that up into your repo. Well, typically like a developer would put it in or submit the code, but they would not push it into production. Best practices for someone else, another set of eyes. We call it 2-person integrity. You want another person to put eyes on that and say, yeah, that's good to go. And it's usually a more senior person. So as vibe coders, we're challenged in that way because it's just us, right? Well, not really. We've got this awesome, coder that's better than us sitting at our fingertips. So what we can use is this Claude Code Action, and it would do a code review for us. Okay, that's more than a security review. It includes a security review, but it's so much more. Okay. So a code review will do things like this. Okay, it'll analyze your code and suggest improvements. It'll look for how you're implementing your code, like like your styling and so forth, like that. Let's see. There's more that it does down here. Okay, path specific reviews. Let's see. It also do security review, so we get another layer of that. So we're going to get 2 security reviews out of this scan. All right, and then it also it does all of this stuff. So how do you install it? The way you install it is in Claude Code. You run this command. So let's get with it. Enough talk. Okay, hold on 1 second. Want to get everything set up. Okay. And right down in here, what we need to do is we need to get our shells and everything running. I restarted this earlier today. I always seem to do this. Okay, so the first thing that we'll do is we'll go ahead and get our convex up. That's cool. Okay. And then what we'll also do, make sure we're on the right thing here. What we'll also do is get our npm run dev up and running on port 3000. Okay, that's our main server. Then we'll also go into our test server. Let's make sure, where was I on this one? Okay, yeah, cool. Make sure this one's in the right spot too. It is. Okay. So now what we do is we go into our test server, our test site. This is like our little demo site that we've got our widget running in. It's within our code base here. And we'll run npm run dev in there too. Okay, so what that does then is that launches up on port 3002 our test site, our test server. Okay, so all that's working. And then we come over here, and the last thing we're going to do is run Claude. Okay, actually I ran that in the wrong folder and I don't want to cause any issues, so let's back out. Okay. Okay. Now, this is interesting. I think this is the one that we've already fixed, but Claude is kind of warning us here. So just to check this here, Next.js 5.5.6, there might be a new one out for all I know. It happens all the time. So I'm going into my package.json file here, and I just go look at Next.js. This is how you can tell what version you're running. Next 5. Oh yeah, we're up on 5.5.9. This was just a helpful warning, but they're about a week too late. All right, so we've already fixed that. All right, and Claude fixed it earlier. So anyway, that's just an annoying warning. All right, so let's get at it. What we do is we do /install, and we do this, and I just arrowed down to GitHub app. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and hit that, and it's going to come up and ask us some things here. The first thing it's asking us is, what repo do you want to install this in? We'll say the current one. Okay, and then what's going to do is it's going to go out and install or make sure that your Claude GitHub app is installed. Now I've already got it installed, so it's asking me if I want to configure, so I don't need to do that. But the first time you run this command, it's going to walk you through a couple steps here. Just be aware of that. You're going to have to authenticate. You're going to have to log in to your GitHub and make sure you authorize this app, okay? But I've already done that. So what we'll do is we'll come back here, and I can then hit, see it says press enter once you've installed the app. I've already done that. Okay, so now I hit enter. It's asking me, do I want to do the code review and also Claude code up in GitHub? I want both. Okay, so I just simply right here in this screen, I hit return. Okay, now what it's asking us, do we want to create a long-lived token with your Claude subscription? Yes. Okay, we definitely want to use our Claude subscription if you have one. All right, if not, then okay, no, if you don't, then you have to use an API key, but that API key is very expensive, right? So just be warned on that. All right, beware. But we have a Claude coded subscription, so we're going to say yes, absolutely. Now what it's doing is it's coming, I'll drag this down. It came here and it wants to ask us again to authorize this app, so I'll just say yes, authorize that. Okay, it's all set. Okay, so I can close that. I can close that one too. Okay, so then what it did was it opened up the pull request. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to come back here to Claude Code. It did that automatically, but right here it says installed success. API key is saved as this right here. It's an OAuth token, and here's the next steps. A pre-filled PR page has been created. Install the Claude GitHub app if you haven't already. We already have. And then what you do is you merge the PR to enable Claude PR assistance. Now, a PR is what's called a pull request, okay? And a pull request is just a complicated way of saying, all right, we're going to make a request to update our code up in our GitHub repository. And we want to, they call it a pull request because you're pulling this code into your main code branch. And it's useful, like out on the way open source works is you can fork anything, any project that's open, that's public on GitHub. You just hit the fork button, and then once you make changes to it, then you can make a pull request for the original code maintainer to incorporate your code into their code. That's why they call it a pull request. But it's the same thing, even if there's just one of us, right? So we want to make changes, and then we want to merge those changes. So what it does is it creates this pull request for you automatically, and it launched it into a web page. We didn't have to do anything. And then what it's doing is it's running some checks, and it's saying it's able to be merged. Okay. And so what it does, it comes down here. Let's read this really quick. I'll put it in preview mode. It's a little prettier. Okay, so this pull request, this PR, adds the GitHub Actions workflow. Okay, and here's all the things it can do. Okay, and it also does, it talks about how it securely put the API key. It stores it up in the GitHub Actions secret vault, and that's a safe place for it. Okay, if GitHub gets hacked, we're all screwed. But that's a safe place for it. Okay, and here's some commands that it allows it to run. Okay, so that's all cool. So what we do is we go ahead and we create that pull request right here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to merge that in. So we come down here, all the checks have passed. Okay, and all we do is we just come down here. Oh, wait a second, it's still running some now. Okay, that's okay. I just expanded that. And okay. What it's doing is it's running the current one that we just uploaded. Okay, it's complete, it's successful. And let's go up and look at the results, see if it added anything in the comments. It did not. Okay, so green checks everywhere. That's what we want, okay? So then we say merge the pull request. And then we can put a message here if we want, but there's no need in this case. And we'll just say confirm the merge, okay? And just like that, you're a professional developer, okay? We just click a bunch of buttons. All right, and would you do this every time you want to push something up to main, up into your production environment? Okay, remember we have Vercel tied to this, so anything that we push, it automatically kicks off a new build. So if I come over here to my Vercel, I should see, yeah, immediately it's building. It's been building for 15 seconds here. Okay, so that'll build, and it shouldn't be any errors if everything worked the way it should. So let's just let that go. All right, now we're going to then modify, well, I'm going to show you what it did first of all. Let's see, I'm going to go here and I'm going to go up into the, well, first thing I have to do is I have to hit this sync button down here to pull the code back from GitHub so we're all synced. Okay, and what that did was that added a folder here called .github. Okay, and inside of that .github, inside the workflows folder right here, okay, there's two files that it gave us. The first one's called Claude Code Review, okay, and we can like just scan through this. It's not all that complicated, but the main thing that it's doing is right here. It's running this command, the Claude Review, okay, and it's running this prompt right here, and this is plain English, so we can see here. It's got some metadata around the repo number and the pull request number, okay? So it pulls those out of variables from GitHub. And then it says, please review this pull request and provide feedback on the following items here. Notice that security concerns are added here, okay? But I'm gonna add a statement in here, just right here. I'm gonna say, use the security skills as part of your review. Okay, remember I have added security batteries inside of our Secure Vibe Coding OS, and so what we want to do is invoke them right here. So this is just a neat little trick, a hack if you will, that will invoke our security skills whenever we push code up to GitHub. Okay, and so that's pretty slick, and just that one sentence right there will do it. And then the other thing that we want to do is, let me go ahead and I'm going to hit return down here, get my command back. And I'm going to say, okay, good. All right, now the other thing I'm going to tell it to do is I'm going to tell it to add the /security review command to the top of this workflow. Okay. And you'll see what I mean by that here in a second. So notice here at the top, there's just one thing, Claude Review. Well, we're going to get a second job, and it's going to say Security Review here in a second. What I'm going to do is I'm going to invoke this language right here that came on this blog article from Anthropic. Okay. And what we want is this right here. Okay. So I'm copy that. Okay. Inside the new Claude Code Review YAML file, that's YML. That's just what they call them. Inside the new YAML workflow in .github workflows, I want you to add a new command or job at the top to call the following prompt. Okay. And essentially, I think that's all we need to do. We just need another job up here to call that. And there's really nothing else that we need to do. So let's just go ahead and tell it to do that. So again, we're vibe coding here. Like I could have typed this stuff up in this file because I know what it's supposed to look like, but I want you guys to be able to reproduce this on your own. Okay, so it's reading that file and then it's about to change it. Let me get a little bit more real estate here. And let me make this just a tad bigger for you guys. Okay, so that you can see it. Okay. All right, so now it's adding a new security review job at the top. And here's what it's going to look like over here, and we can review it. Let's see here. Yep, it's got the security review over here. It's using our Claude Code Auth token. That's good. Okay. Yeah, looks great. And here's the command that it's going to use right here. Here's the prompt. It's just one thing /security-review. And that will invoke the security review, the very comprehensive one that goes out and checks for all these things. Okay, so we'll say yes, we like that. All right, so that just got added. All right, that's good. Now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll push that up to, we'll push this up to main. We added security review to workflow for GitHub. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and sync that. So that goes up to main. All right, so now it's got our code up there and it's got this new review in it. Okay, so now let's do some testing. Let's see how it works, right? So first of all, let's watch this build complete. Okay, and yeah, that's fine. We'll watch that build complete, and that should be just fine. We didn't break anything there. All right, now what we'll do is we'll tell it to. Okay, so now pay attention to what I'm going to do here. I want you to create a test file, a test TypeScript file called test-sample. And in this sample file, I want you to list several functions that have security vulnerabilities. Okay, I want you to add a key. I want you to a private key. I want you to have a cross-site scripting vulnerability, an input validation vulnerability, and a couple other vulnerabilities. And I want you to not put any comments in this file because I don't want to have any indication of the vulnerabilities. And what we're going to do with this file is we're going to send it up to GitHub to test our new workflow without letting it know that there are security vulnerabilities in there. Okay, so again, I don't want any descriptions in the functions about the vulnerabilities. I just want them to be, I want the file to have vulnerable functions in it. Make that happen. Okay, so there it is. Super Whisper's been adding some junk on here on long text, and AI does that in general. Like 11 Labs does that too, and that's the best model out there. This is hallucination at the end because like I didn't tell it this last stuff here. It just kind of made that stuff up. That's what AI does. All right, so it's creating this file here for us. Okay, and what I'm going to do here is let's. Okay, so it's creating that file. It's asking, do we want it? We say yes. Okay, so here's what the file will look like. Okay, so it's got like an API key in it. That's bad, right? It just made that up, right? And then it's got this other stuff here. We want to make sure that we fix this too because we don't want build errors. But it's got these functions in. And these functions then have vulnerabilities in them. So like each one of these like have different types of vulnerabilities. Like, so there's an SQL injection, for example. Let's see. This is a poor random generator. Looks like it's doing some writing to files, and that's insecure. Like it's just got a handful of stuff here, okay? It's pulling in that API key. All right, so we should see lots of security vulnerabilities here, okay? Now I noticed there's an import at the top of that file. Either fix that or, simplify because I don't want any build errors in this file. Okay, so once again, if you've joined us, what we're doing is we're testing a security workflow that we just installed up in GitHub. Okay, so what we're going to do is make this little test file here. And we're not going to merge it into our code base, but what we are going to do is just, run this by Claude Code and see if it can find the issues. Okay, so it simplified our file. It got rid of that header because it didn't need it. Okay, and I also want to go ahead and add in a cross-site scripting vulnerability in there if you haven't already. Just for good measure. I love showing cross-site scripting vulnerabilities, so. I didn't look carefully enough. There might already been one there. Okay. See if I can spot it. Yeah, it's hard to say. All right, so it's there. Oh, here it is right here. Okay. All right. So I don't see any comments in here that give away. Now, I had to tell it to do it that way because if you're not careful, you tell Claude Code that you want a test file with vulnerabilities in it, it'll put all these comments in here saying, this is vulnerable, do not merge. This is vulnerable, do not merge. Because it knows like it shouldn't create vulnerable files, right? But I had to tell it to do it and why I was doing it. And it went ahead and did it. So here's our test sample, right? So it has an innocuous name. Like you don't want to call your file like security test, right? Like I don't want to tip off the AI that, hey, pay attention to this file. I just want it to go up like a normal file, and I want to see if our security rules and processing detects it, okay? All right, so we're really close here. We're about close to run this test. Let's try it. Okay, now I want you to create a nondescript PR that pushes this test file up to GitHub. So make a test branch. Again, do not use the word vulnerability or security or anything like that. Just make it nondescript, like it's a utility file that we are pushing up the code. But you can go ahead and put comments in it that do not merge this. It's just a test. Okay. Now what it's going to do is it's going to create the pull request for us. Now we could go out to GitHub. That's how a lot of people do it. And you can manually type in the pull request, but this is actually easier because Claude Code has access to all the command line tools. It's going to ask your permission here. First thing it's going to do is it's going to add this test sample to GitHub to the local repo. Okay, and here's the commit statement for it. So we say, yes, you can do that. Okay, now it's going to push that up to a test branch that's called add utility helpers. Okay, very innocuous looking. Okay, so here's the GitHub pull request create. So it's GHPR create. And it's going to create that pull request for us. And it's got a very innocuous comment here, adding some common utility functions of various operations like profile rendering, blah, blah, blah. And then it says, do not merge. This is a test PR to validate CI workflow. Okay. All right. And that's just a cool reminder. I wouldn't merge it anyway. And even if we did, we could yank it out. But like, you don't want to, you don't want to merge junk into your code. All right. So it says, do you want to proceed? Yes. Okay. So that's going to create the PR, and then it's going to give us a link to that PR. And then it might launch it automatically. Okay. What we can do then is go ahead. Here's the link to it. We can command click on that. And that launched up over here. And let me bring it down so you can see it. Okay, so here we are in our repo. Okay, this is a private repo. That's what that little lock means. And you see that I have this pull request here. Okay, and you don't see any check marks up here because it's running the test right here. So as I scroll down, you can see that it's running. This is the code review and this is the security review. It's running both of them. So now we have two jobs. Remember, we have two jobs now in our workflow. So this is what we wanted. Okay, now, unfortunately, this is going to take a couple minutes, right? So let's see who we've got here on chat. Drop me a hello. Anyone out there? Hey, I see you, Suja. Thanks for saying hi. Who else is out there? Okay. All right, so we've got, it's still running. Let it run. Oh, hey, you're watching for the first time. So, hey, look, I don't know when you joined us, but I'll just take a moment to explain. We're building this app that we call Secure Vibes OS. And the purpose of it is to allow a developer to drop a widget into their website. So this is for all websites. And then the idea is that this widget will allow the developer, the site owner, to collect vibes from their users throughout the user journey lifecycle. So whether they're just hitting the landing page or filling out a survey or whatever. And then ultimately what we're starting with is the feedback module, and that's our MVP. Okay, and that feedback module allows us to capture feature requests and bug reports, and then we're going to work our way around this way. Now, there are tools that do all of these items over here and all of these. There are individual tools that maybe do one or two of these things, but no tool does more than a couple of these things. Okay, this left side over here, or this right side over here, is done pretty well by tools like Go High Level and Funnel, ClickFunnels, and all those tools, but they don't do the rest of this stuff. And so we're going to do the rest of it, and we're going to be one of the first to do all of it. And we're using AI to do this. We're AI secure vibe coders. And so we've got this long feature list that we've implemented. Look at this. Like, this is our 40th session, or the 40th day. I actually took a week off, but nonetheless, we've got about 40 hours, 45 maybe hours in this. We go about an hour a night, maybe a little longer. And so we've got about a week's worth of labor into this, spread out over a month. But we have about 4 months worth of output. Okay. And that's all these features here. Okay. We've got all this stuff, and I can show it to you. But tonight, what we're doing is we're adding security monitoring in our GitHub workflows. Okay. And we'll talk about that additional layer here in a moment. Okay. So let's go back to this, see how our pull request is going. Oh, it's still running. Okay. Now, while it's running, let me talk to you about something. We have the ability now to, because we installed that workflow, Claude is now running in our GitHub instance. There's an app up there that we authorized. Okay. Now, how cool is that? Now, it's using our subscription or our API key. I'm on a Max subscription, so I gave it, permission to use my subscription. All right. Hey, I see that you're in a BTech final year. Hey, good. That's awesome. Hey, get all the AI you can. All right. Soak it up like a sponge, because you're going to need it out in the workforce. jobs are becoming increasingly hard to find because people are automating with AI. So, if you want to get a job when you get out of college, you need to start learning AI. And then what that also allow you to do is skip a job. You can just start making your own apps and selling it to other companies and get rich that way. Okay, so either way, but what I was going to tell you is down here in the comment, we have the ability to invoke Claude. All we have to do is say @Claude, and so if we get issues here, which we better, when the security scan runs, we better see issues. And by the way, we can look at more details in the PR here, the pull request. We can see it's over here under the pull request menu. We're on the first one, or actually it's the second one, because the first one was actually installing the workflows. We can see what files changed if we want to review this. Okay, so here's like that insecure file that we were trying to push up to our code base. Okay, and it better find it as part of this review. That's the whole point of what we did tonight. So these are still running. So what it does when it runs, it stands up a sandbox, it installs Linux in it, and then it installs Claude, and then it runs all of these checks on our behalf using our subscription. How cool is that? It's our third-party code review. Okay, so we get a code review that has a whole bunch of stuff like code quality and if you have bugs and stuff. And we also told the code review to use our security skills. Okay, now we built all of this on what I call the Secure Vibe Coding OS, which is out on GitHub too. And what that is, it's a secure baseline that I built. It's the most secure Next.js starter kit out there. Okay, and what I did was you get all these features, and I forked another guy's project, but I added all of this stuff right here, the security heart of it. Okay, the heart of the app, I added all of that. So you get security batteries included for free. Okay, so what that does is then it takes you about 15 minutes to install this, and then you start building on it. Okay, that's so much better than trying to use something like off of one of these no-code sites or whatever, and then trying to secure that, retrofit that with security. It's really hard to do. So I'd much rather you start with the secure baseline, and then you can iterate from that and with Claude Code. I use Claude Code within Anti-Gravity currently, which is just my IDE of choice lately. But I've used Windsurf, VS Code, Cursor, you name it. But right now I'm with Anti-Gravity, and they're all the same. If you know one, you know them all. Okay. All right. Once again, yeah. Hey, I appreciate that. Somebody hit my QR code already. Hey, you can learn more about me up in the QR code and also in the link below. I've been in the cyber field for 36 years, more than most of you have been alive. And I've seen it all in cyber. I've done it all. I'm an advanced coder. I've been coding for 46 years, 10 years beyond that. And I know how to do it securely. And what I'm doing is I'm helping people do vibe coding, but do it securely. Now, you can learn about vibe coding all kinds of places on the internet, but you're not going to learn about doing it securely. Nobody else either knows it or is talking about it. I don't know. Hopefully, I'm going to build an army of secure vibe coders so that we can start taking the work that I'm turning down lately. Okay. Like I've sold many apps recently. One of them was for 200K, for example, and they want more. I've sold another one recently for 33K, and that'll turn into more. And like I'm about tapped out, right? So like we need more vibe coders, right? But you're gonna have to get trained up. You're gonna have to go through all of this. Again, you can learn about inside of my mentoring group there. I have 7,500 people in my mentoring group, and we're dropping value daily. But also inside of there, you'll learn about my secure vibe coding masterclass. Okay. And inside of there, you learn all of these concepts and you can, with examples and stuff and homework examples and stuff and projects and stuff that you can perfect your skills, practice, and then you can move faster. Okay. And then you also get more access to me. I meet with those teams weekly that have opted for the secure vibe coding masterclass. So, hey, again, if you're watching this live or come around later and see the video, make sure you check that out. QR code or link down below. Okay, awesome. Let's go back and see where we're at. We should be done by now. Okay, yeah. All right. It's completed, as we would expect. The pull request review completed. And look what it did here. It found critical security issues found. Yeah, you think? It says do not merge. Okay, look, there's 15 critical security vulnerabilities. Didn't look like that many in that code, but there's 15 critical security vulnerabilities. Like critical means like do not publish this code. Okay. Now, some vibe coding tools will just give you this crap. We call it AI slop. And a lot of people vibe coded and gotten hacked that way. And it's sad. It ought not be. So that's what I'm trying to help people do it securely. So look here, it found some hard-coded secrets. We saw that. It found SQL injection, command injection, cross-site scripting. Yep. Man, all the stuff. This is like really bad stuff. Okay, they weren't all critical, but they're bad enough. Like all the way down to number 6 is high. Typically, or 7, you want to at least fix the highs and the criticals before you ship. And if you got time, you want to get the mediums and lows as well. Okay, and look at all this. There's also some code quality issues. That's where the code review comes in. Okay, and this is because we told it to check using our security skills. Okay, so this is the thing I forgot to tell you. On the Secure Vibe Coding OS, I've added all of these Claude security skills underneath the skills folder here. So this is all baked in. Like Claude doesn't come with this. I added these security skills. So each one of these have folders. Some of them have subfolders. Like, and then I have all these skill files. Like, look, this is like a 1,000-line file. It's got all this stuff in it. And I told Claude, I dialed it in and told Claude exactly how to do this stuff. And so that way it's more deterministic and you get a better result time after time. Okay. So great stuff, guys. I hope you appreciate that value. Drop me a thumbs up, subscribe. If you're new here, make sure that you send this around to your friends. Send it to your other college friends. Tell them, hey, you're learning this stuff. They better pick it up too, or it's going to be hard to get a job going forward. I'm telling you, we're already starting to see that happen. Okay, let's go back here. So we've got all this code quality issues. It tells us it gives us some recommendations, best practice violations. Like these are the things that did not happen. These all came out of those security skills that I told it to look at. Okay, here's some recommendations. Look at this. Like this is incredible. This is like if you had a senior programmer, they would tell you all this, but it would take them like hours to type all this up. This was before AI. Now AI is your senior programmer. Okay, so take immediate action. Do not merge this PR under any circumstances. Because if you merge it, it goes into the code base and then it's live. And then people can hack you, right? So you want to rotate all your credentials, okay? So the exposed key must be invalidated immediately. That's a fake key that was in there, so I'm not worried. Okay, remove secrets from GitHub history. All right, all of this, right? It's telling you all this stuff to do. Here's a summary, okay? And then what we can do, if we wanted to, is we could say, and look, here's some more stuff. That was just the code review, by the way. Okay, here's the other job that ran, the security review. Okay, so it also found 12 vulnerabilities. And it gave more details here, more details, more details, more details. It even broke it down into OWASP. OWASP is the gold standard when it comes to security, okay? The OWASP top 10 is the best out there in terms of security standards. And it's giving you much more detail here. Immediate actions. Within 1 hour, you need to do this. Okay. Like, this is incredible, guys. Like, mind blown. Okay. Like, that you get this kind of information, like, by AI. It is far better than a human. Okay. Like, 100 times better than a human. Like, I've been doing cyber for 36 years. I don't know if I could have spotted all 12 of those vulnerabilities by hand. I would have to use a number of tools to get them, and some of those tools miss things. Okay, so like, guys, don't sleep on this. Okay, it even gives you some metadata here. Here was the time it ran or the date it ran, all this stuff. So what it does, it comes up and says all this stuff passed. Now, if I were stupid, I could go ahead and merge it, but I'm not gonna. I never do that. Okay, what I could do is I could say, Claude, fix this. Now watch this. Claude Code is running in my GitHub now. Look right here. It picked up this comment right here. It's looking at it. And it should go ahead and jump in there. Here it comes. Claude Code is working. I'll analyze this and get back to you. Now, what Claude will do is it'll go off and fix that file if it can. If it can't, it'll come back and tell you it can't. And then what it'll do is create another pull request that you can review, or it'll update this one actually. And then you can merge in that after it fixes it. So I'm telling you guys, like this is it, man. Now, let's describe what we got going here. Let me go back to this file here, okay? So we have, I'm gonna give you the security layers, okay? So we have the secure vibe coding OS that I spoke to you about. It's this repo that we built on. It's a secure foundation. It has security batteries included, right? It gives you all this stuff included. It does that within security skills. And I wrote this, and I forked it off this guy's great project. Props to him. But he didn't have any security in it, okay? I added all of the security heart. The security batteries are included in this thing, okay? And you can check it out here on GitHub. So, all right, so we got that going on. We start with that, right? That's our secure baseline. So I'm gonna do it like this. That's our secure baseline. Then on top of that, we do secure prompting. We taught that, like we've been doing that in previous sessions. I teach this in my secure vibe coding masterclass, right? So you want to do secure prompting. That basically invokes the security skills that are in those folders. There's like a bunch of them. So when you say things like, perform input validation, it goes and invokes that security skill, and it teaches Claude how to do that precisely. Now you could roll the dice, like Claude Code's smart, and it may understand what you're talking about for input validation. It may not, okay? But with the security skill, we know every time it's going to invoke that skill, and it's going to do the same thing every time, okay? So that's what we do. The other thing that we do is we do secure, so we have secure prompting, we do security scans. And reviews. Okay, so I gave you an agent within that secure vibe coding baseline here too. In the Claude folder, there's agents folder here, and it has all this security orchestrator, and the security orchestrator launches these other sub agents, and it run through a detailed process, including running this third-party tool called SemGrep, and it'll run like a security scan on your code. And we've done that in weeks past. We'll do it again someday. I do it regularly when I'm developing. Okay, so you get all this for free, guys, if you just follow me. Okay, all right. So we get these security reviews here. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're also going to do GitHub workflow reviews. Okay, so with all these four things here, this is what we're doing that no other people aren't doing. Okay, and like if you go out and vibe code your app like on Replit or wherever, like they'll do a couple of these, like they'll give you like 10% coverage of security. Our goal is to get you like 95 to 99%. You're never going to get to 100% and run from anyone who tells you that they can get you there. That's a lie. They don't know what they're talking about. They're lying to you, trying to get your money. There's no such thing as a 100% secure system. Never. Okay, I've got a PhD in this topic. I can assure you, like there is no such thing as a secure, 100% secure site. But what you can do is you can make it so secure, you can make it mostly secure so that we call it hardening. We harden the system to the degree that an attacker will go elsewhere. Now, if that is a really determined attacker, like the Russians or somebody, like it's a nation state and they're coming after you, like then game over, checkmate. They're going to get in. There's nothing you could do to keep them out. Okay, they'll hack you in other ways and get on your phone and get in that way, right? So, but what this will do is keep 99%, of the hackers out, and that's all we need to do. And believe me, like the average vibe coded site out there is about 40% secure. And this is based, don't take my word for it, go out and research. There's many studies from credible companies that tell you that the average vibe coded app is about 60% insecure, has about 60% of them have vulnerabilities. Okay. So what we're trying to do is reduce that down to about 1%. Okay. And again, like, believe me, I've been doing this for 36 years. If you can get above 90%, you're doing something. Like, right, you are mostly, for all intents and purposes, secure. Okay. But we're raising the bar above that. And it's because we're doing these 4 layers. By the time, like, we're running through a gauntlet of security testing. So by the time this thing actually gets published, up here's where it gets published. Whoop, excuse me. And up here is where we actually push it to Vercel publish. Okay. So by the time it hits Vercel, which is our cloud provider, it's got all of these security layers under it. Okay. And that, again, is the secure vibe coding process in a nutshell. It's a summary of it. Okay. So hopefully that's been valuable to you guys. And let's go over here and see what this thing's been working on while we've been yapping. Okay, so here's all of the, clarification needed before proceeding. Fix the security vulnerabilities. It says that he reviewed it. I need clarification on your intent before proceeding. This file contains intentionally vulnerable code. 15 security vulnerability issues, including all of this stuff. Okay, 2 possible approaches. Delete the vulnerable code. Okay, and then, or you can do all this other stuff. All right, we did enough. Thank you, Claude. But you get the point, right? So what you can do is you can direct Claude to fix stuff up in GitHub. I didn't have to drop it back into my Claude code and like fix it and push it back up. This is the beauty of doing, this is called CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous delivery. This is advanced stuff, guys, but we do it just by clicking a few buttons and we let AI do the rest of it. And believe me, like, normally there's a team of developers doing all this, and we're just one person shop here. Okay, with the really, really smart AI. And we do the work of 10 or 100, really. And while you're here, let me show you, let me tease the back end of our app. Okay, here's what it looks like when it's deployed like out on somebody else's site. They get like a feature request form and a bug reports and a roadmap, and they also get a change log. Okay, and there's nothing in the roadmap at the moment. That's why that thing's loading. All right, so let me show you what it actually looks like in our homepage. All right, if you go to uservibes.os.ai, you'll see our homepage. We updated this last session. This is what nice snazzy dashboard. I'll show you this in a moment. We have like the ability to capture these feature requests and bug reports and stuff, right? And then we also have this comprehensive security dashboard. And that's because we're secure vibe coders, right? Like, our competitors don't have this. All right. So then you could see right here, we have on the production site, we have pricing disabled, but on the development, you'll see that when we launch it, it'll be $19. But you can go to the site right now and sign up for free and just kind of go in and kick the tires. Okay. And I've got all these features rolled out. Check it out, guys. All right. And then some of these buttons I've just realized don't work on here. So what we are going to have to do is we're going to have to update that. Namely, this gets started for free. Let's see. Does that work? Yeah, it does. I'll be darned. All right. So we use Clerk for authentication. It gives a Google sign in. All that's working. Look at this. Look how pretty that is. Like, when you hover over it, notice how those dots come? That's a responsive website, reflexive. That's really cool. All right, so you get all that. All this template comes with the Secure Vibe Coding OS template, by the way. Yeah, Secure Vibe Coding OS, the one on GitHub right here under my repo. Okay, so we've looked at the front end. Let's look at the back end, and then we'll wind it down here. We're making great time tonight. We accomplished a lot. Like, I'm telling you, this would have taken probably all day to mess around with the developer to get all this stuff set up right. We did it in 10 minutes. And most of that was me talking. Okay. All right. I'm on my local dev server. I'll go ahead and log into the dashboard just so you can see what we're working with or what we've developed already. Okay. So we've got light and dark mode. That's part of the Secure Vibe Coding OS. And we've got all this functionality here. We've got a live dashboard. Let me get rid of this down here. We've got a live dashboard. and we can filter on our events that have coming in. We've got security events. We show those first. We have feature requests. We have bug reports that were submitted, and we have comments. Okay. And this is the feedback that we already are able to collect for our customers. Okay. So the idea is you come in, you set up API keys. Okay. And then you go into the feedback panel here, and you can actually create a project. You can do all this up on the live site, up on uservibesos.ai. Okay. And then what you do is you create a project. Inside the project, it looks like this. So you get like all your feedback comes streamed into you, right? And the idea is like these are 2 feature requests that we got a day ago, like as part of our testing. So when you click on these, you actually opens like an email. Check that out. And we can comment, we can reply back to the commenter here, or we can read comments. We can also move it to our board, right? Initially, they just come into our feed, but then we can move it, like, for example, move that one to our backlog. Okay. And when we did that, when we moved it to the backlog, it comes out of the feed, and now it's over here on the board. Okay. And there it is right there. It went to the top of the backlog. Okay. And then what we can do is, this is our development Kanban board. And we're working things, like we can move it over here and say, okay, we're doing, and then we're in testing, and then we can say we're done. The items over here in done, I'll move this back just for demo purposes. Okay. The items over here in the done column, those can actually are candidates that can go into the change log. So over here in the change log, you can like make a new entry. Like I created one before when we were testing, but when you make a new entry, what it'll do then is it'll let you select items that are actually not, or they have, from done, they have to actually be marked done. Okay. And when they're marked done, they actually will show up in here, and then we can select those as part of our change request log. Okay. We can also moderate our comments that come in from our users, like on our feature request. And that's important because sometimes people say stupid things, or they curse, or put, spam or whatever. And so we can moderate that if we choose. And all of that's over, like we have one pending moderation right now. Okay. And then here's what it looks like out in the real world, like on a user site. Okay. So they have like feature requests here. Here's a number of feature requests, and you can vote on these. So, and all of that works, like you give your username and an email address, and it'll let you vote on it. We also have bug reports where they can submit a bug report. Okay. And they can put a screenshot in here, and they can put tags, all this stuff. It's awesome. This is what I mean when I say we've got 4 months worth of work on this thing. Okay. We did this in about a week of labor, 40 hours. Okay. Like you could not do that before vibe coding and before AI. Okay. I'm a pretty good programmer, and I could not do that. All right. Again, I'd be messing with this site for about 4 months to get it up to this point. That's my estimate. Okay. So here's again what it looks like. You can share the roadmap if you like with your customers. And all of these are selectable in the settings. I'll show you that in a second. And here's what the change log looks like. Here's the embed instructions for the developer. And we make it super easy for them. They just copy these environmental variables in, and we mask it out for them. But those are actually real keys, okay, from their API key when they set it up. Okay, and then we tell them what to do. We tell them how to create their JWT token. They just take this code, copy, paste it in. Okay, and then they have 3 ways that they can do the front end. They can do a React widget, an NPM import, or they can also just do straight up native JavaScript. Okay, it looks like this. Okay. All right. Now, here's the settings. Here's where the magic happens. They can change their project name or any of their metadata. Here's the API key that it's using. We let them get a landing page, okay, where they can if they choose, they can just point their user straight to a private landing page of ours that's for them, okay, and they claim that. We've already claimed it. That's why it says right here what it would look like. We could change the colors of the buttons, all this stuff. We could change like what features are enabled. Like, are we going to let voting happen? We could turn that on and off right here, right? And so on and so forth. Let's see. We have widget tabs here. Like we can remember over in the demo, like I had feature request was on, right? What I can do is I can you can't turn it I can turn it off and it makes the next one the default. So now if I come back over to the demo, it should be different now. See that? The feature request is gone. That's what I'm telling you guys. Fully functioning site. We vibe coded this whole thing and it's secure, guys. That's what's different about what you're watching here. This is special. You're not going to see these other vibe coders go through like the detail that we've done for security because we don't want to get hacked. All right. We're not going to get hacked. We'll go ahead and turn that back on just for my future demos. All of this, man, it's all working. You can actually drag and drop those columns, like, and move them around if you like. You can edit the names of them. You can add a new one. You can add tags to the boards. All of this. We have 2 tiers of security. We have like public key security and then JWT tokens. We got all that working like weeks ago. The developer can test their JWT token in here, inside of here, and here's just instructions of how to do that. We even give them a script that they can run to generate. This is a custom script made for them that would generate their tokens based on their keys. How cool is that? You know, I'm telling you guys, like, we've thought of it all. Well, AI thought of it all. And then they can delete it. This is called the danger zone. This is best practice to put like dangerous things like this. You want to wrap in a danger zone. Are you guys digging this? It says, please, Waleed had a question. Please answer on inbox. I don't know what you mean. What do you mean by inbox? Sorry. Clarify, please. All right, guys. Hey, look. We just went a minute over. This is awesome. We also have this analytics page here. This stuff right here gets fed up to the dashboard. All these events. We've got, we can look at it. It's in log mode or linear mode. Look at that. Snazzy animations. We can look at the last 3 months, or we can look at the last 30 days or the last 7 days. How cool is that? It just works, man. And we've got these nice banners up here telling us that, hey, we've got 61 unread security events. You can see those in the security dashboard. Look at this. And you can click on these and like it'll filter. There's no criticals here, but there are some mediums. And we can see these. These are all here, and we can mark them as red. Like we just click them off and they go into red. And these are open or these are closed. So here's the ones we just clicked on. See how that all works? I'm telling you guys, this is a production grade app. There's people out there talking about you can't vibe code production grade stuff. They don't know what they're talking about, or at least they're not. I'll be kind. They're not using the tools that I'm using. Okay, like we're using Claude Code. We use it inside of Anti-Gravity. Nothing special about that last part. You can use it from the command line if you want. We use Claude Code. I showed you tonight how to do security scanning, like that 5th layer, like right up here, right, or the 4th layer. As part of your GitHub workflows. So we're security throughout the life cycle. That's what we do. All right, guys. Hey, I love you. Thanks for joining. I'll be back tomorrow night and we'll do this again. Okay, I'll do this up through Tuesday. And then what we're going to do is I'll take a little break for a few days over Christmas. I have family coming in town. And then we'll pick it back up like the following weekend. So, but I'll see you tomorrow. Same channel. Same time, 8 o'clock Eastern. That's New York time zone. All right. Hey, until next time, check me out with the with the QR code up there or the link down below. Make sure that you thumbs up, subscribe, send this around to your friends. That way the algorithm will show me some love. Whatever platform you're on, go ahead and follow me. You can see me at these other platforms that have been scrolling across the bottom. And hey, you guys be safe out there and be blessed by the best. I will see you next time.